Hi! In this video, we're going to be learning how to apply the three notes we learned in the last video, D, E, and F sharp, to play the four songs that are on page 10 in All for Strings. So these four songs are Three Note March, French Folk Song, Hot Cross Buns, and Mary Had a Little Lamb. That should be the one that we're all familiar with. Now, before we get started into these songs, I want to review the three notes that we're playing, because all of these songs are made up of these three ingredients, and if you can play them very well, then each song will be a piece of cake to play. So let's review our playing position. Always start from the right position, on our shoulder, with our hand sliding to the back with a straight wrist. We don't want to have a pizza hand, always straight wrist from our elbow up to our fingertips. Then check your bow grip. And let's just, as review, play a mini scale. We're going to walk up, D, E, F sharp, and then we'll walk back down, F sharp, E, D. So let's set our bow on the D string. We play open D. Then set your first finger, nice round rainbow fingers on the tip, E. Then we put our second finger for F sharp. Okay, now let's walk back down. Double check, make sure that your first finger is also down. And then E, and then open D. So the most important thing as you're playing these three notes on this whole page is make sure that anytime you go to F sharp, the first finger also stays down. We want to have good, round, strong rainbow fingers, and we don't want our fingers to come up in the air at all. We want to keep them always down nice and strong, nice and firm in a rounded position. If you notice that you're getting a kind of weak sound, that could be because we're playing with flat fingers like this, where you're placing your finger on the string not on the tip here, but on the finger print part where the finger is a little bit more cushiony. So we want to make sure we're on the finger tip. If this is your first time playing violin and you're a new player and putting your fingers on the string for the first time, it might be a little bit painful at first sometimes. You might get, you'll notice some lines show up on your fingertips. That's totally normal. And as you play, the more you play, your fingertips will get stronger and stronger and you won't experience any discomfort. If you have discomfort, just go ahead and take a quick break, put your violin down, go do something else. Maybe read the notes, practice studying the order of the notes on the page, thinking, okay, here's my first finger, here's my second finger, and then pick it back up and try again. And the more you do this, the more you play, the more comfortable your fingers will get on your violin. So let's go ahead and start together on the first one, Three Note March. So you'll notice that our first measure, it's just 4 open Ds. So we're going to play this with about half bow each. And then our next measure is 3 E's, E, 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 and you see that the E has a long line after it. That means we're going to hold it longer than the other ones. You'll also notice that there's words under it and it says rosin bow. If you're a good music detective, you should remember that from the previous video where we learned the bow rhythm, rosin bow, where we used half the bow for the word rosin and then the whole bow for the word bow. So we're going to be doing that 4 times in this piece. Whenever you see the phrase rosin bow, it's going to be the same bowing, half, half, whole bow. Okay, the last thing we want to keep in mind is as we play our F sharps, again, a quick reminder, make sure we always leave the first finger down. Don't lift it up behind it because we're going to go back to that E anyways. So here we go. This is 3 Note March. Double check your playing position, straight wrist, check your bow grip. Do you have a banana thumb or do you have a bent thumb? We want to have a bent thumb. Then set your bow on the D string at the frog, and we're ready to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see on those notes with the dash, with the line next to them, we held the bow a little bit longer than the other ones. They each get 2 counts. We'll learn about half notes in the future, but for now, just keep in mind that we use the whole bow on the notes with the dash. All right, now French folk song, very similar to three-note march, but now we have at the last note on the first and second line, it's a D with a really long line. So that one's going to get 4 counts. So in order to play a note that has 4 counts in one bow, you have to save your bow, move it a little bit slower than usual. So let's do this as a practice. Just set your bow on the D string at the frog, and we're going to count to 4. And by the end of the 4th count, we should be at the tip of our bow. If you get there too soon, that means you moved it too fast. So here we go, set the bow at the frog. 1, 2, open D, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. So if you move the bow and you went 1, 2, 3, we ran out of bow too quick. That just means you're moving it too fast. So slow the bow down. That's going to be important here. Now, if you look carefully at French folk song and you're a good music detective, you'll notice that the first and second lines are exactly the same. So really, when you're practicing, you only need to practice one line, and then you can play the whole thing. So focus on one line at a time, and then French folk song will be a good song that you're ready to play whenever you like. So here we go, French folk song. Double check your positioning. Is your wrist straight? Do you have a banana thumb or a bent thumb? Set your bow on the D string. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, D. There you go. So when you play those Ds with a really long line after them, it might be helpful just to count out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you know how long to play them, or just play along with me and you'll get a feel for the rhythm and how long to save your bow there for. Okay, now let's move on to Hot Cross Buns, number 31. For this one, we want to pay very close attention to the first note, because you may have noticed the other two songs started on open D, but this one starts on F sharp. That's going to be our second finger. So in order to start with our second finger, we need to walk up to it. So normally we would just start the song, but since we're just getting used to playing our F sharp, we want to walk up to it first. So start with your open D, then play E, then play F sharp. Okay, then now you have your F sharp ready to go, and you're going to start in tune. We don't want to just kind of throw our fingers down and guess and hope that we're in the right spot. So walk up to your F sharp, double check your wrist, no pizza hands, okay? Bow grip, set your bow at the frog. Hopefully your F sharp is still down. If not, walk up again to it. And then here we go. Here's Hot Cross Buns. We have another D with a long line, so we're gonna have to count to 4 on those. 1, 2, F sharp, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, off. All right, so for this one, again, we had those long notes counting to 4, saving the bow. You might have noticed that in the first line, after we play F sharp, E, D, there's another F sharp. The way I got to the F sharp was I didn't just put my second finger down to play the F. I walked up to it. I went 1, 2, and then played. So you can do the same thing. Always set your first finger and then your second finger. And as you get better and better at it, eventually they'll come down pretty quickly together. But we always want to start with the lower finger, 1, and then place 2, so we can have it in the right spot. Okay, on to the grand finale, the song that we've all been waiting for, Mary Had a Little Lamb. This is the same song that only contains 3 notes, D, E, and F sharp. It's just a little bit more active in moving between the fingers. It also starts on F sharp, so I would recommend walking up again before you start, and then you're ready to go. Now, when you're practicing this one, just a little quick tip on how to practice this one. I would practice just one measure at a time. So you'll see there's the first 4 notes, F sharp, E, D, E. Just get familiar playing those 4 notes. And do it as slowly as you need to get it in tune, to be familiar playing 2, 1, open, 1. and then go on to the next one, F, 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 and you'll see that that's the same rosin bow pattern that we had before. Rosin bow. So that pattern, all of the things we've learned so far are coming together for this one song, Mary Had a Little Lamb. So let's go ahead and play it together. I recommend, if you haven't yet, stop the video and look over the notes. Get familiar with, okay, here's my second finger, here's my first finger, here's open D. And then go ahead and try and play it together. And if you need to practice it one measure at a time, go ahead and do that. It's always better to practice slowly than to try and jump in and play incorrectly on the first try. So let's play together. Mary Had a Little Lamb. We're going to walk up to the F sharp. Okay, set your bow at the frog. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there you have it. Mary Had a Little Lamb. So that's 4 songs in one page that we can learn with just 3 notes. So see if you can find some other songs that only have 3 notes. Or maybe come up with a song of your own. Just getting really familiar playing D, E, F sharp. Now, the other thing that you can do is take these same fingers and play them on your other strings. See if you can find what notes you're playing. If we were on the D string and we played D, E, F sharp, see if you can play the same song on the A string with the notes A, B, C sharp. If you follow the same finger pattern, you'll find the same songs. You can do that on the E string. E strings, they're going to be a little bit you might get some squeaky noises. It's going to be the hardest one to get a good sound on, but as you practice, just keep the same finger positions. Make sure they come down nice and strong. Make sure your bow is always between the bridge and the fingerboard, and we have the right bow angle for each string. If you're on the G, make sure that you have a high elbow. And all of these songs will transfer across. They'll have different note names, but the fingers will always be the same. You're open, 1 and 2. So have fun practicing these, trying them on different strings, and make sure, again, that you're a good music detective. Listen for any inconsistencies in the sound. Are you getting any squeaks? Are you getting any crunches? Are you getting whistles? That might be because maybe we're not using enough arm weight, or maybe we need more bow speed, or maybe we need to make sure that our fingers are nice and round. Maybe that hand is a little bit weak because you have a pizza hand. These are all things that factor in together to equal your tone, how your violin sounds. So double check each one of these things, listen to your tone, make sure you like the sound that you're making, and have fun practicing.